TV, and today we're speaking to Henry Newrick, Managing Director of the Team Group of Companies. Welcome along, Henry. Now, the Team Group specialises in delivering low-cost marketing leads to businesses in the UK and overseas. It covers a diverse range of businesses, including things like fax, email, voice marketing, telemarketing, webinars, and also such things like domain names and sales incentives. So welcome along, Henry. Love to have you here today.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Now, a couple of weeks ago in our first interview, we were talking about your background in publishing, how you left New Zealand to go to Singapore, and that was to help a publishing group that were experiencing some financial difficulties.
That's right.
And then after that, I believe you went to the UK, where, amongst other things, you were retained by a Polish group, weren't you? And to help them in a new startup. Now, the question I want to know is, how and when did you start in publishing? Tell us about the early years of Henry Newrick.
Okay, thanks, Yasmin. First got started in publishing at the age of 11. I was still at primary school and I had this idea for a school newsletter which I wanted to put out. And the teacher in charge of the class said, yes, you can do this, as long as you don't involve your mother in the publishing endeavour. So I proceeded to put out a monthly newsletter for which I charged a penny a copy, full of jokes and anecdotes about the kids at the school. That was my start, 11 years old.
And tell me, Henry, what happened at age 18?
Well, later on, when I left school, I went to university, and whilst at university I got involved in publishing with the student newspapers, and one of the early endeavours there was I was approached by the New Zealand University Students Association and asked if I would edit and put together a student guide to New Zealand. So that was the first real publication outside of the school years, and that was very successful and sold throughout the country. Then after that, I guess I was about 23 at the time, in fact was 23, I started a business newspaper called National Business Review, which is now the leading business journal in New Zealand. So those three things were really my first introduction to publishing.
And so tell me a bit about your award-winning tourist guide, Henry.
That's right. At 19 I launched a tourist guide called Focus on Wellington, and it set new design techniques, and it was quite a cutting-edge publication for its day, and we were awarded a National Tourism Award by one of the Tourism Council of New Zealand, so not too bad.
So Henry, prior to this interview, you mentioned to me that during your publishing years in New Zealand, you actually sold millions of dollars worth of ad space. So what, in your opinion, are some of the qualities that make for a good salesperson?
I think probably the most important quality in terms of selling is enthusiasm. One of the first books I ever read on selling was by an author called Frank Bettger, who'd been one of the top life insurance salespeople in the United States, and he put out a book called How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. And one of the key elements or ideas that I took from that book was that the key to making a sale was to be enthusiastic, and he made the point that he would rather have a salesperson working for him who was at 100% enthusiasm and 10% product knowledge, as opposed to somebody who had 10% enthusiasm and 100% product knowledge, because if you're not enthusiastic about the product or service that you're marketing, then you can't expect your prospect to be enthusiastic. And I think that's always stayed with me to this day. Another great author of that era, W. Clement Stone, said to be enthusiastic, you should act enthusiastic. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that's stayed with me. Another important element in terms of my early years in marketing and selling was a quote from Abraham Lincoln, who said that if first you would win somebody to your cause, make them your friend. And one of the key things in selling is that people have got to like you before they deal with you. So it's a question of know me, like me, and trust me. And then if those elements fall into place, then selling becomes relatively easy.
Well, I can tell actually, Henry, you're very well read with all these books behind you, so that's been fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this is Yasmin Khan for Team TV.